From Tobacco Republic in Loomis, California, the Loomis Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Well, good evening, everybody. If you're watching this on time, happy Inauguration Eve. Because this comes out just before the 20th.
Oh, that's right, because we're recording it late. I'm like, what the No, it comes out next. No, wait, no, it does come out this Monday.
Yes.
Sunday, shit.
Yes, it does. As you can see, we're sans one. Scott's had some little family issues at home and couldn't join us tonight, but the rest of us are here. So let's say good evening there, Anthony. How are you?
Yeah, I know I sleep late, but I don't sleep quite that late that it's good morning. I'm doing all right. I am in that final 36 hours before a scout camping trip where I'm like second guessing all of my abilities and knowledge as a scoutmaster, and imposter syndrome is setting in. What the fuck did I forget? Everything's going to go wrong. And then we're going to get there Friday night, and then I'll be like, oh, we're here. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
So
it's camping.
The usual chaos and drama. Mm-hmm. So, although I do get to write my very first Eagle Scout recommendation letter as Scoutmaster this next couple days. So that's exciting.
Sounds like fun.
And do my second, the final meeting, quote unquote, with the Scout before they submit all their paperwork that I've ever done. So that's kind of cool.
Nice.
But yeah, it's going good.
Cool project.
Very different project, because usually everyone thinks Eagle Project is you build a bench in a park or some very surface level thing like that. This Scout actually worked with a realtor that my dad knows through his business, named Dave Johnson. He worked with the Lions Club in our area to collect eyeglasses. They have the eyeglass collection that, if you've seen any of them around recently, most of them are kind of forlorn and abandoned, but he did more of a proactive, went out to schools and other businesses and put out temporary collection bins. Kind of like pennies for patients when you were in elementary school, but for eyeglasses. They collected several hundred, so
nice.
It was a cool project. It's very different because it wasn't like a physical building project. It was more of a abstract planning and organizational project, which most of the adults in the Eagle Scout project tree are more engineer and construction minded, so it tends to be harder to present a project that's less tangible, if that makes sense. So, but he did a good job. It was a really good project. It was good specifically for the kind of kid he is. He's a little more reserved, so it was interesting to see him put together a very different project. So it was cool.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Mr. Marlott, how was the week going?
I did something to my back over the weekend, so I am in a little bit of discomfort these last few days. So I'm kind of just going through the motions here a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a chiropractor who also comes into this brick and mortar, Dr. Lehman out of Lincoln. So I was there yesterday. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Just trying to get me straightened out. So that's about it.
Lay on the ground. We'll jump on you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's not the first time I've heard that in the last few days, by the way. Jackass.
I'm still all for getting some sort of Eastern European woman named Olga to just like beat up on you for 45 minutes in a massage parlor.
That'd go real well.
You first.
That reminds me of a story from Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations, but we'll go around that. So tonight we have a little bit of a different motif. We're one short, as we said, wishing Scott and his family all the best. And he'll probably tell you about that the next time he's on the show. Maybe he won't. But tonight we decided to smoke a newer cigar company. They made their debut in 2022 at PCA, coming out with their white label, which Anthony is enjoying right now. It is West Tampa Cigars, Ricky Rodriguez. It's a line that I really like. I got introduced to it from Rocky Mountain, actually. It was in one of our goodie bags, so I've had the white one before, and I talked to him this year and got a nice sample bag with the 3-core line, and these are really good. So I'm going to start out on my left, your right. Larry's got the West Tampa Black Toro. It is, I don't care about the customer reviews, it's a heavy smoke hailing from the mountainous majesty of Nicaragua. Nicaraguan binder, filler, the Ecuadorian Habano Maduro wrapper introduces rich, zesty smoke with spicy and sweet complexities. And I know you're a little farther in than we are, so what's your first blush there?
Initial light was really, really smooth. I didn't get any spice at all on the first light. But now, definitely tell it's Ecuadorian Maduro, because it's got that almost like a white pepper to it. It's not super spicy on the tongue, but there is a little bit of spice there. Really earthy, dark flavor to it. This is a nice cigar. It's funny. I had forgotten you said we were going to do these tonight. So this is my third Maduro of the day. I started out with an Arturo Fuente this morning and then a Camacho a little later in the morning. But this is my first go-around that I can remember of West Tampa. But no, so far I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, it's a great line. I'm really glad it was one that we discovered here. So let's talk about Anthony's for a second here. It is the West Tampa White. It is Habano light pink wrapper around a fine Nicaraguan binder and filler introduces smooth, classic, and mellow charm.
Oh. What does light pink mean?
I have no idea. It's not a term that I'm familiar with. I know it's a Habano.
Never heard that before.
I know. I don't either. So, Ricky, we do want to have you join us on the show so you can fill us in when we get that there. This is a medium body, according to the websites. Creamy and smooth, delivers rich flavors. So you and I are just on the initial light, so we'll come back to...
Are we both smoking the white?
No, I've got the red. So we're just smoking the core gambit right now. So we'll come back to you and I in just a minute as far as that goes to give you a little bit more time to get into yours. And mine, of course, is the West Tampa Red. It's the newest out of this line. This one was released last year. This one is a red delivers a flavor bomb, enhanced body perfection with West Tampa. Blend would be nice, so I'll have to look into that while we're talking about something else because I don't have the blend on this one. But the red, I've smoked all three, obviously. The red has become my favorite. It's got a very earthy, more... It's almost a mix between the creamy and the bold. It doesn't have almost a more of a Corojo type note to it, but I don't think that's in it. I'd have to look better, but I really like it. If you want a good medium, middle of the road, I think this fits out of the three as the medium.
Is that a more of a coffee cigar, more of a bourbon cigar? What are you thinking on that? I know you're not much of a drinker, but
no, but I have paired it with both.
Okay.
I have developed my bourbon palate is shifting a little bit to liking a little bit here and there. I have paired it with a little bit of Eagle Rare. And, that's not a hot bourbon. It's more of a smooth bourbon. And it does pair. They don't overpower each other. They don't fight with each other. So I think that works. Coffee-wise, I've gotten into a medium Colombian is what I'm drinking now at home.
Okay.
And it does, I would say, not go well with that because the Colombian tends to overpower the cigar a little bit more. Okay. I prefer a darker, richer cigar with my coffee in the morning now, based on what I've changed to. But, I think if we went to like the Mexican coffee that Yard Dog Coffee puts out, I think this would pair great with that because then they're not competing with each other.
That makes sense.
So that's what we're smoking tonight. And obviously we're not drinking tonight. Scott's not here.
Ouch.
But yeah, so I wanted to get on first. Let's get the fan mail out of the way first here.
Uh-oh.
Because we did get an email, and I apologize. This email came out at Christmas. In fact, it was sent to us on Christmas Day, but we hadn't got around to it because the next recording we did was with Brandon with Apostate. So this is from James up in Grass Valley.
Oh, okay.
James says, and I will get these pictures up so you can see them for those of you that watch the YouTube channel, but it says, don't go looking for these items. I'm pretty sure they are photoshopped. But when you guys started talking about Legos from episode 132, started talking about Lego bombs and stuff like that, we had to put these out of the back meme folder, and they're Christmas memes. It's a Lego Waco, Texas, and a few others. It's ridiculous.
Christ.
But I'll show you the guys. I'll put the pictures up for you guys. It says, "Merry Christmas, you monsters. Grass Valley Brewing Company did not ruin their beer when they fired their brewmaster." I don't remember us saying that.
I don't remember us saying that either.
So,
there was some changes up there, for sure. But honestly, I think the changes that I've noticed from Grass Valley Brewing were for the better, not for the worse.
I'm curious because I know we did talk about Grass Valley Brewing. I just can't remember what episode it was.
somewhere back there.
It was somewhere in the last month or 2 months or so.
Grass Valley Brewing's one of those, man. If you're in the foothills area of Northern California, like we are, and that's one you definitely have to try if you haven't. It's a little bit of a drive, from Sacramento, but make a day out of Grass Valley, Nevada City, and go by there. They have some really great beers, and it's a pretty cool spot too.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite things to do up there is not beer related, but they do a big Victorian Christmas fair every year, and it's just fun to do.
It's just damn cold that time
Yes,
of year
it
up
is.
there.
Side note, because saying Grass Valley made me think, you know what else is kind of cool to go visit up there? And one of the families in the scout troop did, and they posted the pictures on Facebook. There's the old Empire Mine State Historic Park up there. And they went in the end of December on that weekend where it was kind of spit and rain, but it was foggy. So the entire mine complex was all misted over, and they're like, it was very cool.
I could see it being creepy too,
a little creepy, but they had it. But they also had it decked out. Like they'll put wreaths on the doors, and they'll do the candles in the windows. So it was very the mom
Kind of
said
period correct.
It kind of took them back to this is what it would have kind of been like on a wet weekend before Christmas.
No, that whole area up there, from Colfax all the way up. There's some neat areas. It's it's a great way to spend a Saturday or Sunday. Go up, have breakfast, one of the little places. Walk around, do a little shopping. There's a lot of unique kind of specialty shops up there, and it's fun. We don't get up there very often, but whenever we do, we always have a good time.
Especially the back end of summer going into the holidays. That whole kind of 4 or 5 months. I think there's Railroad Days in Colfax. There's the Victorian Christmas. There's Empire Mine does something in that time frame. I can't remember what they call it. There's the Nevada County Fair. There's all sorts of cool stuff.
Nevada County has one of the coolest fairs in the area. So because it's it's in the heat of the summer, but you're far enough up in the foothills. It's under those great big trees. It's a super good time up there. They also do. At that fairgrounds, the Draft Horse Classic.
Yes.
For you equestrian folks.
No, don't write in, Tommy. We know
that draws people from all over, and it's kind of a multi-weekend event. Too.
Have you ever been to it?
Years and years ago, we went up there for lawnmower races.
Jesus.
Okay,
for that whole month that you thought you were going to build a racing lawnmower.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta know.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Exactly what it sounds like.
So you take an old busted ride-on lawnmower?
You take a ride-on lawnmower, you pull the mow deck off of it, you drop the thing down so the center of gravity is lower, and holy Christ, these guys are nuts. It's on the same vein as midget wrestling as far as, the white trash factor.
Backwards trailer racing.
Yeah. It's definitely, I wouldn't recommend it, on the regular, but, if you got to at least see it once.
Well, I know one we should do that you've talked about several times, and we should take some video and go up there and do it, is the sidecar racing up there at Auburn.
Oh yeah, for Fast Fridays in Auburn at the Speedway. They still run flat track motorcycles in Auburn. In my opinion, the only weekends to go is when they run sidecars. And what that is a motorcycle with a rider that hangs off the side of this thing in the corner. So they run reverse of the standard track layout, and it's the craziest shit you ever saw. I mean, you wouldn't get me on the back of a bike with somebody else driving it, running it, going that fast to begin with. And then you want me to hang 98% of my fat ass off the side of the bike? I don't think so. And we've seen some just hellacious wrecks up there. Nothing, nobody's had been life flighted out or anything, but I mean, holy mackerel, we've seen some good wrecks. And it's fun. I mean, it's $9 beer night, and you're having a good time.
The other event I was going to throw out, but unfortunately it's technically not in the foothills anymore, is the Mountain Mandarin Festival. Which that's not the Mandarin Festival's fault. We could do a whole episode on why the Mandarin Festival isn't in Auburn anymore.
But I like where it is now because it's easy to get to.
Well, and that's the thing. So for anyone who lives in the area and you haven't been up to Auburn for the Mandarin Festival, it's not in Auburn anymore. It's going to be at the Roseville Fairgrounds, the grounds of Roseville. It's still a cool event to go to. They had a couple challenges moving the venue, but I think ultimately it's where most of the people who come to the event are from anyway, or from Sacramento and Roseville, based on statistics and polling they did over the last several years. So it's cool. Our troop goes every year and has a booth. So
I just remember the last time I went to the Mandarin Festival when it was in Auburn, I about fucking died walking up that hill and down it.
See, that's the only downside about it not being at Auburn anymore at the Gold Country Fairgrounds, because what our troop for the last almost decade or more now.
Yeah, at least 10, 15 years.
We set up a booth and we used to borrow the little red wagons from Isley's Nursery. Now we just source our own wagons from the families in the troop. But what we would do is we'd be posted at the very bottom of that hill. And our thing was we were essentially layaway. You go buy your mandarins, bring them to, it started with just mandarins. Buy your mandarins, bring them to us. We'll tag them with your name. We'll give you a receipt with a number on it so you get your exact mandarins that you bought back from the farm that you wanted to buy them from. But now you can walk around and enjoy the rest of the festival without
lugging 10 pounds of mandarins.
Or 50.
So it's valet parking for mandarins.
Bingo,
yes.
Got it. And then at the end, it's all pro bono. It's all free. And at the end, when you grab these 50 pounds of mandarins and you look up that godforsaken fucking hill to the parking lot, we say, oh, by the way, there are 2 young men or young women here who have a cart that would love to help you out to your car, all for charitable donation, of course, an optional charitable donation.
And the money rakes in.
Yeah, we do pretty good. We didn't do as good this year just because new venue and we were kind of in a weird spot. But
you're lucky it's me editing the show this week and not him.
But I was trying to peel my label off without dropping my ash, and I ended up dropping the ash, in a spot I did not want to drop the ash.
You've done that before.
Yeah, I didn't burn a hole in anything this time, though.
The best part of it, though, was over the years, it went from being just bags of mandarins to, I think one lady came up, it's like, I bought some trees from the orchard. You can, the little, saplings in the pot. And then someone's like, I bought, a 4-foot tall yard ornament, yard art sculpture of a chicken. Can I leave? So we just we said nothing that breathes. We don't take pets. We don't take children, but we'll take basically anything as long as you are comfortable leaving it with us. So
what if the pet's not breathing anymore?
I'm trying. Honestly, I think the weirdest thing we've ever taken is that big lawn art chicken.
That's cool.
That the metalwork guy made. But
So
it's a good event.
The consensus is there's plenty to do in this area.
Oh, yeah.
At any time of year, so,
And Grass Valley Brewing doesn't suck.
Yeah. I mean, man, I don't know what. Yeah, I hope we did convey that because, no, I didn't. Not at all.
Was there drinking involved? There may.
Yeah, I mean, how many bourbons? That's a fair point. How many bourbons were we in?
I don't know.
Was this late in the episode, early in the episode?
I think it was.
You got to give us a little more information.
I think it was an episode where you and I, and it was just like it is now. You and I and Gorilla and no Scott.
Oh,
but.
All right, what else you got to say? Is he just giving me shit for...
Just giving you shit for that, other than he's inviting us up to smoke with him, which we really should take that offer and do
we
it.
need to do that.
Yes, we do. Yep.
Does he say... Because I don't know of any place...
I think it's a private club he created.
Oh, right on.
So, yeah, it's a private lounge downtown by appointment. So we'll have to make an appointment, James, and come see you.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I'll put Larry in charge of that. I'll send this email to Larry, and you all can work that out.
There we go. Yeah, we'll get some cans from Grass Valley Brewing, and we'll make a day of it.
Yes. Some nice barbecue or something. So, since we're on the West Tampa subject, let's talk about the new release that ships this month. It actually shipped last week. West Tampa is proud to announce their Circle of Life pictures to follow. For those of you that watch YouTube, hint, watch the YouTube channel. Circle of Life is blended by Ernesto Perez Carrillo and Rick Rodriguez. It's a looks like a great cigar. It's a 20-count box. Rick, just to let you know, a blend would be helpful. It's a Robusto, a Toro, and Gigante. The Gigante is 6x60. It's a beautiful looking cigar. I'll put pictures up there. Don't have much more than that because that's what I got. The other news is, would you hit the Davidoff button, please?
Oh, sweet Jesus, here we go.
Davidoff has released their 2025 limited edition Winston Churchill series cigar. It is a wonderful cigar. It is expensive, but that's normal. It's a beautiful box. I don't care about the accessories. I should have been better prepared for this. Anyway, it's a beautiful box.
Ooh, yes.
Yes, it
Peeking
is.
over your shoulder. It
is a beautiful box. There will be a picture. I took one. It's a medium-bodied format, a medium-bodied cigar. It's a 48 by 7. The blend is probably disclosed somewhere, but I have not been able to find it yet. So if any of you all know what the blend is, let me know. Average retail that I've seen so far is around $60. I'm going to try one. I'll let you know on a future show, see what it is. But that's, as much as I have, that's the news this week. We're in that dead period. Yeah, you go ahead and kill that now.
I was going to subtly fade it out. But
Yeah.
All right, it's dead.
But, we're in the downtime. Christmas to January, as Brandon talked about on last episode, is typically when cigar manufacturers go into a little bit of hibernation as they crank up for PCA.
Take a metaphorical breath.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which PCA, by the way, is coming up. It's in April. It is in New Orleans this year. They have now released registration for all you fine cigar merchants out there. So if you're going to PCA, you're going to New Orleans, get on that and get your spot secured. It looks like fun this year. We will see. So, yeah, that's really all I got with that.
Good times.
I know, isn't it great?
You're a little farther into that cigar. Tell us a little more about that.
I'll start with you, Anthony, because you've got number 1.
I agree. It is very smooth, very creamy. It has spice to it. It's got a tiny little bit of that pepper where it tingles, but I would say it's more spicy in the way cinnamon is, and not like cinnamon candy, like raw cinnamon, where it's just kind of a warmth. It's very good, very smooth. Based on everyone here, good smoke production. Mm-hmm. That is something that we've mentioned before with other cigars, and I am starting to appreciate that. Yes, a cigar that produces smoke is a lot more enjoyable than
what's the price point on these?
I cheated and bought mine at the Rocky Mountain, so that doesn't really count. Average price point for a 5-pack is running about $50, so about $10 a stick. It's a good price point as far as I'm concerned.
That's not bad. Is that normal $10?
That is normal. That is normal everywhere but California, New York, and Massachusetts.
So that makes it what?
16.
Even at 16, that's not bad.
Mm-hmm. Now mine, this blend, and I need to do a little bit more looking at what the blend is. The wrapper on the red is Mexican San Andreas. So that automatically, we know it's a little bit more bolder, but this one has a very interesting sweet and not like hint of it. It has an almost sugar sweet to me. It's very interesting in how it appeals on the palate there. But it's phenomenal Maduro, or phenomenal medium body, I think.
I don't get sugar from mine, but it is that creamy kind of.
That's different for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what the filler binder is on that. Too.
Yeah, the wrapper's listed as Mexican San Andreas, so that tells me a lot.
I can get that, but Yeah, that is a different little different stick. Yeah.
And, in this case where it's the 5 sampler pack, which is what I picked up when we went to the show, you only get one of these, which slightly irritates me because this is the one I like out of
So
the group.
you got one of those and 2 of the others?
2 of the other, each of those,
okay.
yes. So, yeah, I mean, I like the white one. That was the first one I smoked. I like the Maduro. I really like this one. It's become my go-to when I'm smoking a West Tampa product. And he's got a couple others, too, that are on the market now that are really good. He's got an Attic series, and it's phenomenal. A little bit higher price point, but I think it's worth it. And, the thing I like that we kind of get the slight advantage over the listener is we get to see these guys face to face. Unless you go to an event where they're there, you don't really. I mean, Rick is just a cool dude. He's very, very outgoing, very gregarious. He's really a really interesting person to meet because he's just so fun.
Awesome.
But yeah, he was at PCA and we missed him somehow we missed him when we did our 2022 PCA visit. But it's a really good stick, and it really makes it to where, I want more, and I want boxes of them.
No, I could roll this through the rotation for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is going to sound, we've said this a bunch lately talking about Maduros, but another great example of a Maduro that was blended for flavor, not for power.
Right.
Just a nice, smooth, medium to full. Like I said before, not a whole bunch of spice on it, but some good earthy, rich flavor coming through that, and a lot of smoke.
Now, if that comes into your regular rotation, what would you pair it with?
I would like this, like I did this morning with that Fuente. I think this would be a good starter cigar in the morning with a nice coffee. I'm usually in the morning at the shop. I'm drinking Bustelo, so I'm drinking something that's a little bit darker, and I just drink coffee. I don't put anything in it, so it's
yeah. Yours is black, unlike mine.
So. No, I think this would do great with a coffee in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know you're not normally a coffee drinker, Gorilla.
Not really, no.
But, more soda, I see you with either that or water.
Mm-hmm.
How's it doing with yours?
It actually, sipping on the Dr. Pepper, it actually pairs reasonably well. It's the trick, and I said this before, remind me, it's Nicaraguan?
It is.
The problem with me for Nicaraguan leaf, especially if it's all Nicaraguan, is some of the Nicaraguan gets really, really peppery, and it hits a point where I don't mind it in that initial light, the first few puffs where it hits you and then it subsides like this one has. And even for the Connecticut, it didn't really hit, it just kind of, it was there and then it faded. But if it carries that pepperiness, trying to drink something carbonated with that is like, it's not quite the orange juice toothpaste effect, but it's between the prickliness of the spice and the carbonation. It's just like too much.
Yeah.
Too much. But this one, it's mellowed out. It's gotten creamier. It has some like an oaky kind of base note starting to form, if that makes sense. Yeah. And it with the kind of caramel of the Dr. Pepper, it goes really, really well.
Right.
Which I know is a weird pairing, and all the actual grown-ups in the audience are like, you fucking...
No, it's not. Because if you remember when my coworker Paul was on our program, this was several years back, one of his favorites is the Dr. Pepper cream soda to drink with his cigars. So it's not unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, you find what, there's a comfort level for everybody. Find what you like.
Actually, what I think would go really well with this is my typical evening mixed drink of choice is Dr. Pepper and Jameson. And something about those two make kind of the caramel and that kind of, those two flavors together kind of make almost chocolatey of a flavor. That would go great with this. I would enjoy that immensely. I don't have any Jameson with me.
I did not think there was any possible way to fuck up a Jameson. But
it's Jameson. It's not like I'm, it's not like I'm putting Lagavulin in my Dr. Pepper. Calm down.
No. Larry. Wow, my mind is mush for this program. Anthony was talking about smoke volume. It's been season 1, if you will, of when we talked about that. But smoke volume, as far as a cigar goes, what thoughts?
I like the smoke. That was one of my. I think that's my biggest drawback on the smaller ring gauge cigars. I get the whole flavor. You get a more of a bite, stronger flavor from a Lancero, say, than you would a larger ring gauge cigar. And I agree with that statement, but I want the smoke volume. To me, that's what smoking is about, which is why you will typically see me in a 50, 52, 60 ring gauge cigar. I like that better.
Well, and there's you get the initial draw in and taste. If you can and like to retrohale, you get it secondarily through that. But then there is a third, the ambient smoke around you that you're inhaling. And all three of those are subtly different.
Oh, 100%. I enjoy that part of it, the smoke, the smokiness of it, if you will. I don't know how else to explain it. I have noticed over the last, year and a half that some of the medium ring gauge stuff, I'm getting a lot more smoke out of a Toro sized cigar than I think I used to. And I don't know necessarily that it's newer products on the market, newer cigar houses. I think some stuff is being rolled, manufactured a little bit different today than it was, say, 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Is that good or bad? I don't know. I like it, because it appeals to the type of cigar, it's the type of experience that I'm looking for. But we've really hit the mark, I think, lately with the stuff that we've been trying, the stuff we've been reviewing. I had somebody comment to me the other day that listens to the program kind of off and on, and they're like, "You guys haven't ever found a cigar you don't like." Yeah, that's not true.
Correct.
There is a little bit of tact and thought about what we say live on it.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to come out and just hammer a manufacturer if it's something that is not in our wheelhouse, because obviously there's people that are smoking it because they're selling them. But that being said, I kind of have to agree with the statement that he made. I have not come across a cigar that we've picked to review or that has been given to me as a gift, or I've just seen somewhere at a brick and mortar out of my area while I'm traveling, go, hey, I think I'm going to try that. I can think of maybe one cigar in the last 2 years that I've picked up somewhere or been given to me to try that I was just like, that's just not really me. And it had nothing to do with the cigar. It was a well-constructed cigar. It smoked well. It just wasn't for my palate at the time.
And there's a little bit of game theory going on too, because there's a reason you're smoking the Maduro and I'm smoking the Connecticut. We discussed that it's like I'll smoke the Maduro, but I'm not going to have not that I would not like it, but my palate's more geared lighter. Greg's is more middle of the road and yours is darker. It made sense to distribute the cigars that way, which is why we almost always have something good to say, because we didn't set ourselves up for failure, essentially.
Yeah, we tend to steer towards, the type of stuff that we like to begin with, so that makes it a little bit easier. But, again, if the four of us, when Scott's here, if the four of us are handed 4 cigars from a manufacturer, and I don't care if it's the manufacturer gives them to us, a shop owner, proprietor, friend gets us as a gift, or we pick them up someplace. If it's not something that I feel is in my wheelhouse, then that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And again, it's the product is in the market, so it has to be selling somewhere. There's got to be people that are smoking it.
Yeah, and I kind of look at it as, the problem I have with, and this is us included, is in me reviewing a cigar and telling you, the listener, what it's about. You and I don't have the same palate. We don't have the same smoking experience. We don't have the same any of that. So I could decide that I absolutely hate it. Am I going to tell you that I hate it? No, because the flavor profiles that I like, as you said, that I don't like, somebody likes it because they're buying them.
Yep.
It's not fair to me. It's not fair to the manufacturer for me to go, I hate this cigar and here's why. I can tell you I don't care for it, but the flavor is nutty and earthy and this and that and tastes like charcoal. If that's a flavor profile that you happen to like,
then this
by all means, smoke it.
This is the stick for you. Well, the prime example of that, and we've gone back to this, a couple of times, is there used to be a guy that worked in our local brick and mortar, retired CHP officer, and he smoked chisels every day.
All day.
All day. I mean, that was his cigar. And to me, and they're a great cigar. I mean, they sell the hell out of those. People love those cigars. Those things are an ass kicker for me. And I've been smoking dark cigars for years, and those are an ass kicker. They're just not something that I can do on a regular basis. Now, I have one every once in a while, but that would not be my first choice.
Right.
And there's some other ones, depending on what's going on. If you haven't eaten all day, going to a Christoph Triple Maduro, probably not a good idea.
No.
But same thing.
But
we've been lucky, I think, more than anything else, as that we've been really good at. We've had some great cigars.
Yes,
for sure. So, some of the small market houses they're putting out some fantastic products right now. We're in a unique time in the cigar industry. Is there's some really, really, really great products coming out. A lot of it. But also, again, we like Gorilla said, we're not trying to set ourselves up to fail. We will, by and large, pick something, or at least me personally, that I feel's probably going to be in my wheelhouse. Now, every once in a while, I'll go way out. Let's try this. And one of the ones, and we're going to go back to this, and I sound like I'm beating this over and over, is the Candelas. I'm not opposed to a Candela. I will try just about anything. Again, you've heard all of us say we've had some great Candelas. We've had some Candelas that's like, whoo, Christ, I'm smoking lawn clippings. But Apostate has a fantastic Candela.
happens to be our favorite.
It's by and large my favorite Candela. The Sinistro has a good Candela. Arturo Fuentes has a good Candela. So, again, I typically am going to try to focus on something, that's at least I feel's probably going to be in my wheelhouse. Because I don't want to go out and try to find a bad cigar to pick a bad cigar and smoke a bad cigar for my palate.
Actually, we did that
once.
And if you guys want to hear what a bad cigar episode sounds like, which we've done one, go to our back catalog and find the episode titled The Fighting Cock. It is a $1 cigar, and there was a back history to that. You can listen to it on the episode, but it was one that we all knew going into this was going to be horrible, but it was a tongue-in-cheek episode.
And there's a reason we only did it once.
Yeah.
It's because it starts to become beating the dead. What do you think of the cigar? Sucks. That's a lot less interesting than, hey, it's not in my wheelhouse, but here's what I do enjoy about it. Not to get too meta, it's the same thing of like, there was a couple years where all the like media podcasts where it wasn't talking about here's what I liked about this movie or here's what was good about this TV show. It's here's why every movie made in the last year sucked and you should hate it. And it's like, that's not fun. That gets fucking old. Yep. Like what? Like we could sit here and shit on all these cigars, but that's not fun.
No,
it's not interesting.
And I think too,
you know, it's gonna, yeah, it's gonna defeat the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things that when this podcast was inceptualized in the beginning, wow, that was a $10 word there. One of the things that Scott and I talked about was we didn't want to, beat people up and every one of us here on this show, whether it's Larry, Scott, Anthony, myself, any of the various guests that have come on, guest hosts, vendors, and manufacturers, we are doing this because we are passionate about cigars and about tobacco.
It. Yeah, we enjoy it.
And we want to impart that. And that, I think, is one of the best things about this whole business is that it's a group of people from all walks of life that enjoy the same thing. And it's a common thread between everybody. I mean, I think it was you that he was telling this story about years ago. And I don't even know if it made it on a show. And I think it was Anthony the first time he came in here and you were explaining to him that you got a millionaire sitting next to a grocery clerk and no one cares that there's a financial difference between the two of them because they're all smoking a cigar.
And you can't tell just based on the conversation.
And weirdly, the millionaire's smoking a $8 stick that he loves, and the grocery clerk, decided to treat himself and buy a $50 Davidoff. Like it.
Well, this is a great equalizer, and I've said this before. Coming from the bar business as a younger man, you can break bars down still. You got your neighborhood bar, your sports bar, your pickup bar, your whatever. There's all kinds of categories. Oh, there you go. There's all kinds of categories. There is the cigar lounge is the ultimate cross section of the population. Every walk of life, every breed of cat, every type, good, bad, indifferent, you're going to run across them in a lounge. And that's, once they got the ventilation fixed in this place, because when I first started buying cigars here, I couldn't come in here because you walk in at 3 p.m. and the smoke was up down to about 2.5 feet off the ground. You couldn't see from one side of the shop to the other. And that was a little much for me. But once they got the ventilation, squared away, and I figured out, I could actually take some time to sit down and relax and smoke. I enjoy coming in here and, the different people that you see, whether they're regulars that you know them, their history, their story, what's going on, their kids' names, all that stuff, to maybe there's a guy traveling through, here for 2 weeks for work, whatever, here to visit his grandkids, whatever the story is. And I've found that in a lot of places, because when we travel, we will look up specific, see if there's a cigar lounge in the area, see who's selling cigars. That's where I pick up a lot of my stuff now. Mm-hmm. My wife's really good at finding a humidor. She'll pull it up, and if the first 3 pictures are glassware, she figures, okay, this is probably not a humidor. This is a head shop. So, we've had some really good luck with finding stuff when we travel. We've met some really great people, even if it's only for a half hour at a time in cigar lounges all over, all up and down the West Coast. So yeah, it's, this is just an extension. The podcast is just an extension, I think, of, sitting around the lounge and talking. It's not really any different.
Yeah.
There's not as many people talking at once on the podcast there is in the lounge, but we're sharing experiences of something that we enjoy, and if we come across a stick that like we said earlier, it's just, if it's not for us, it's not for us. Doesn't mean it's not for you. I'm still going to tell you what I'm getting off of it. It just not or I may have it paired wrong. I think that's the biggest thing. I'd say the last 2 or 3 cigars that I haven't been like really excited about, and it's like, okay, it's a cigar. As I think back on them, like maybe I was just, I had that at the wrong time of day or with the wrong pairing. That would have been better as a morning coffee cigar than an evening bourbon cigar. Or, I smoked that. I hadn't had anything to eat since the night before. Maybe not a great idea for that to be the second cigar of the day with no food for 14 hours. It's just, you got to think about what else is going on, with that cigar as well. So
yeah, I mean, you think about times we've had in the lounge. I remember, God bless our late friend Craig Stevens. He screwed his back up something awful, and I picked him up from his house, drug him down here, and it was like watching a 90-year-old man trying to get in and out of the car. And he's my age. He's a little bit younger than me, so he's would have been now in his late 30s to early 40s. He comes in, sits down, we get him a cigar, we get him lit, we get him happy. And he decides to mention to the group, God, don't make me laugh real hard because my back will spasm and I'll start writhing on the floor.
wrong thing to tell a bunch of assholes like us.
And it became one of the funniest nights of cracking jokes just to see him miserable because we're that kind of asshole.
Yeah.
And God, the night, I don't know if you were here that night or not. One of our good friends retired as a command sergeant major from the Army. And we had his retirement party. We all drive over here, come in and start smoking till the wee hours in the morning, just laughing our rear ends off, spinning this whole, we need to write a book about taking brands like Rice-A-Roni and stuff like that and make them into people. And it was a night of complete and utter stupidity, but it was so funny and so much fun.
The one that I will always remember, because it was in my time since I started coming here, was when we stayed way too late talking about fucking micronations.
Oh, God, that was a night.
Oh, my God.
And actually,
to the point where people were like, "Oh, I can become a Scottish lord if I..." Like, no, don't do that.
And that's an episode we've never created.
You goddamn right it is.
But I think part of that is because that was such a, like...
Organic.
Or yeah, it would be a fun... just like the episode with Pat Walsh that we did with his travels, but then also we talked conspiracy theories. We've done that in here. It was still a great episode, but there's something about it organically.
Yeah, when it just
up.
jumps off, when you don't have anything
like, how
planned.
the fuck did we get here?
Well, and it's, again, going back to the cross-section of the population that you meet in a cigar lounge, there's no telling what, we get some unique individuals, and there's no telling what comes out of some of these people's mouth, and you're just like, oh, shit. Okay, we're talking about this now.
Yeah, and there's a new fellow that's come in the lounge now that's become a regular once or twice a week. His name is Terry. I don't know if you've met him yet. He's from France.
No, I think I'd remember that.
He is one of the most unique individuals I've ever met in here, and he's just a cool dude to sit and talk to. From the French are very food and drink oriented, and he just has such wonderful experiences to tell a fat guy like me that likes to eat. He'll just spin the stories of French food, and it's like it makes me want to go to France to eat my way through the country, to visit these various places and eat.
Or I'm gonna fuck his name up now that is it Tim?
The fireman?
Fireman Tim with the books?
Yeah,
yes.
That's Tim.
Okay, it's Tim. Tim will be in here, and he's like, "Oh, Tim, he always has a book. What are you reading?" "Oh, I'm reading a first edition of this autobiography from 1868.
And
he's
it's a
reading a
first edition.
140-year-old book, 180-year-old book. It's like, oh, okay. Like,
remind us not to touch that.
yeah. But then 3 weeks, like literally the third time I'd ever met him, he's like, "Oh, here, take this," and he hands me a cigar box, and inside is a 1938 Scoutmaster's Handbook. And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Because I saw it and I thought you'd dig it." I'm like, "Cool."
Yeah. No, that's met some great people through this experience, over the years. And that's, again, that's what motivated us to do this.
And it's how we all met too, in here.
Yeah. No, 100%. And, it's just it's a great way for me personally to relax, let off some steam. And, I am by no means, overly knowledgeable on cigars, but I am articulate enough to be able to tell you what I've come across and what I like, and that's all we're doing is, we're just killing some time and bullshitting about cigars. So
it's like 30% of the time it's the wild, crazy, oh my God, remember that nights. The other,
70,
not even 70, like 60% of the time it's just a chill night. People are having their own side conversations, and maybe once in a while you get a night where just the combination of people, you're like, this is a I'm going to put an earphone in and scroll through my phone and just smoke and then go home. Like, it happens, right? But every once in a while it's like this is a very interesting group of people in here, and I'm just going to observe. I'm going to observe the chaos going on.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not, because we have people like that. Like Roger will come in and he's socializing, but in his own way. He's watching his chess video, or he's looking at something. He's here. He'll pull his headphone out and comment or talk, but he's doing his own thing.
He's relaxing and his thing.
And people know that that's his thing. Mm-hmm. Or there's some nights where, back when the shop was in the other side, you had kind of the two sections, the front and the back. There'd be some people that, if they were in the front of the lounge, they wanted to socialize, and maybe once in a blue moon, they'd go to the back, and it's less like, oh, they're just relaxing. Let them do their thing.
Don't bug them. So. But yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about it, and it's universal everywhere. Larry and I travel quite a bit, so does Scott. Gorilla's just getting into travel now, and it doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter what lounge you walk into. They are all the same.
Yep.
It's the same experience, the same event, and it's so much fun. It's what makes this hobby really enjoyable.
Yep, 100%.
But, well, see, this is also the difference. If you look at mine compared to the other two, I've gotten, so it's funny, we talked about this offline, so we might as well talk about it now. Congratulations, come on another tangent with us. Look at the speed of smoking. For those of you that are on the YouTube channel that can see this, I am down to the last 1.5 inches of my cigar. Anthony's got 3 inches to go, and Larry's about 3 inches to go, and that shows you, when I first started smoking, I would outsmoke him no problem. I was so slow. But now it's the opposite. Larry smokes way slower than I do, and I freaking power through these things.
Well, and I've gotten slower over the last few years. I'd say probably the last 3.5, maybe 4 years. When I got started smoking, where I was smoking pretty much daily, I worked a graveyard job, and I was on the dock, so I could, but I had to be in and out of the building. Even with the big roll-up doors open. And I would smoke over there, even coming in the building. I wasn't supposed to, but I did. But I would power through stuff because that was just, I was working. Now I take longer smoking just because I'm not, I'm not going 80 miles an hour anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think I get a better experience now than I did, 20 years ago, because I'm taking the time to, enjoy what I'm smoking, notice what I'm smoking, It's just a different experience.
You absolutely do, because Phil Ziggy is the owner of Indian Motorcycle Cigars and Indian Tobacco, and he was explaining one time when he was here in the shop that I tend to, a Toro like this should get me in almost an hour. And I can tell you we're only about 40 minutes into this recording, and I'm already almost done with mine. So am I getting the full and proper experience? The answer is actually no. Mine's a little bit too warm, and so my flavors are probably a little bit more muted than they should be. Versus you two, who are smoking at the appropriate speed, you're getting the full flavor effect, because cigars are not meant to be smoked hot. You want to keep it just to where you keep that cherry lit to keep going and draw a smooth, cooler smoke through it, because you get the better flavor profiles. And that's the theory. And I can tell you in practice, that's actually the way it works.
I will take this opportunity to throw someone under the bus. The fastest cigar smoker I have yet met is, unfortunately, our good friend Boat Boy. He came in during his Christmas break and showed off his brand new Meerschaum pipe that I'll send you a photo to put up. It's very beautiful. But then after smoking a bowl in the pipe, I gave him, as a late birthday present, I gave him an endowment. He enjoyed it, but there was, I knew it's like, oh, I'm a cigar smoker now because I watched how fast he smoked it and I was like, But again, that comes from kind of like you said, he's got a 15-minute break on deck before he's got to go back down and make sure the engines haven't exploded. So like he doesn't have time. He's programmed to, all right, smoke. That's why he smokes pipes, not cigars. But it did hurt me a little bit. Sorry, Zach, if you're listening.
And it's the truth. I mean, my first experience smoking a Lancero, and as all the listeners know, that's my favorite size. Just is. That's a 90-minute smoke. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
The first time the proprietor of this shop gave me a Lancero to try, I sucked that entire thing down in 35 minutes.
Oh, and he was pissed.
Oh, yeah. And he literally gave me another one, the same stick, and said, these are your instructions. Make this last 90 minutes. And I had to force myself to, instead of puffing consistently, to give it 30, 40, 50, 60 seconds in between puffs. I got the 90 minutes out of it, and the experience was totally different. It was just smoke, and then it became, I can taste, burnt wood, and I can taste earthiness, and I can taste these notes that are there. So it's there. It just depends on you. And by my telling you all how to smoke, by no means. You smoke at the speed that you're comfortable with. But try to slow down. You really should.
Yeah. Well, when I was doing the graveyard shift thing and smoking, I was doing a lot of lunch break size cigars, short story, stuff like that.
Around 4 inches.
Yeah. Because I got about 15, 20 minutes to load a truck, and I would blow through one of those, get the paperwork done, start on my next round, fire up another cigar. Mm-hmm. So there were nights, if we had back-to-back stuff coming in, load, unload, there were nights I would smoke 10 cigars. Now granted, they're not, they were probably 35 ring gauge, 30, 35, somewhere in there, and about a 4.5 inch stick. But yeah, I'm blowing through 10 of those. So, and then I had a guy that worked with me that smoked backwoods. So every once in a while, you have to throw backwoods in there, and that's, I'm sure there's somebody watching this or listening that just went, oh, but, it's an experience.
You've said this many times, and it's true. Everybody smokes what they like.
Yeah, and I smoked a ton of backwoods back in the day, so it is what it is.
Yeah, and
back when that's all I could afford.
Yeah, true.
So, it is what it is.
I mean, even when I started smoking cigars, Swisher Sweets were the first iteration, and now I go to one of those, I'm like, no.
Dutch Masters.
The Craig's had a few of those for me too.
Dutch Masters, White Owl.
I think
Garcia Vega.
I know I've said this like 8 or 10 times. My buddy Ken, he got like 5 boxes, like full, like the big wooden boxes of Dutch Masters when his dad passed. And he's like, what the fuck do I do with these?
Burn them.
Well, he does. He throws 4 or 5 on the campfire in the evening, so it smells like Dad's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeps the mosquitoes away.
Heck yeah. There's some DEET in there, I'm sure.
But to go back around to you're talking about when we were talking about how we all like most everything we smoke on the program, I also think we have come into a era right now where the manufacturers have stepped up their game so much that it's very hard to find a bad cigar
That's
anymore.
what I was saying. I mean, we're at a unique time for this hobby. Cigars have definitely jumped up 2 levels, in my opinion. There's some just fantastic stuff out there from a myriad of manufacturers, and it's cigars, craft cigars, and I don't think that's what they call it, but like craft beer and craft spirits, it's just a small batch time for all those things, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. There's some great local breweries. There's some great local cigars.
Let's not forget our local distilleries.
Yeah.
Hogback comes to mind.
When I say spoke to, I messaged Catherine last week.
Did we talk about that on the show?
Not yet.
Oops. Okay, we'll fill people in on that a little bit later then.
Yeah, a little later.
Okay.
There's been a couple of issues that have come up that we probably will be able to discuss at a later time.
Okay. Oops.
It's okay.
So,
This is why we don't do the show live.
True.
bingo, genius. God, there was something else I was thinking about craft alcohol wise, and I don't remember what it was now.
It just opens up so many options.
Yeah.
Like it opens up so many, as opposed to being like, here are your 8 main flavor profiles that every cigar house is putting out. Now there's hundreds of subtle differences.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you don't like that one, try this one, because that flavor profile you don't like is not in this one, but everything you do like is.
Yeah, and that's, if you're a smoker, and I mean, there's people out there that, I smoke a cigar once a year. Okay, you're not a cigar smoker. If you are a smoker, what?
We're going to get letters for that.
No, I mean, you enjoy what you enjoy, but if you're
a cigar
serious,
smoker in the same way I'm a model railroader. I read the magazines and I watch YouTube videos and I dream, right?
Okay,
like you touch your little train set once a year, like I do, right? Like
in this day and age, with the amount of cigars that are available, you can find something that you're going to enjoy.
Yeah.
And now it may take a minute. You may have such a unique palate that it's going to take you a while to find that perfect stick. But that perfect stick for you is out there, man, because there are just a multitude of fantastic cigars.
Like West Tampa.
West Tampa, this is good. Getting a little bit hot, and wrapper is cracked just a little bit. But that's probably more me screwing with it than anything else. But no, I'm really happy with this. This is a very nice Maduro.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gregory.
My pleasure. Mine, I am down to the nub now, where it's going to get painful to hold on to it, but we will endure. It's gotten to where I now have a floral note coming out.
Right.
And it's very, I don't want to say grassy, because it's not. It's more of a this is the wrong description, but hopefully you guys can pull this out. It's got a very light potpourri kind of note to it, not in a bad way, but it's very floral. It's like a younger bottle of wine where you've got that floral note to it in the background.
Okay.
So it's really nice. And like I say, the sad part is to come back to that point that the fellow was telling you. It's obviously one that I like, and it's one that, I want to support this manufacturer because I want them to stick around. And I want you all to support this manufacturer because we, as a collection of cigar smoking community, want these guys to stick around.
Absolutely. So reach out to your local brick and mortar and see if they have West Tampa cigars and pick one up.
And if they don't, have them get a hold of them.
Yep.
They'd love to open new accounts. And how about the white label there, my friend?
It's mellowed out immensely. It's still got that kind of, I'd say, oaky kind of base note. Still very creamy. The pepper is gone, but it's turned into just a very smooth, enjoyable smoke. It's not overly complicated, but it's got enough flavor that this is. Again, I think I said it with when we were talking with Brandon that I'm still a Connecticut smoker, but some of the Connecticut's I started with taste bland to me now because my palate's opened up a little bit. Whereas this one, it's still a Connecticut, but there's still flavor there. There's still stuff there to enjoy. It's not just the one note like a lot of, I'd say, the beginner cigars we recommend typically are.
And you'll find, because you've actually touched about a point I was at about, probably 8 or 9 years ago in my cigar smoking journey. And it is, your palate it grows and expands. And you get to the point where cigars you liked when I first started smoking, now they're still there. I'll still smoke them occasionally, but my palate's shifted toward more medium to full, and it's like it's too light now. I need something a little bit more meaty there. So it just evolves, and it's a good thing, and it's a fun experience.
Yeah, I had a hard time for a while finding a Connecticut that I liked really well. I mean, like I said, there's always some good Connecticut's out there, but I was so heavy on dark cigars for about a 3 or 4 year period that if you were to come in and hand me a Connecticut, I'd be like, okay. Because I wasn't getting a lot out of those sticks. Mm-hmm. And I deliberately, about the time we started doing this, not because of the podcast, but just because I wanted to kind of enhance my experience a little bit, I deliberately started picking different things so that I wasn't, 5, 6, 8, 10 Maduros in a row, whether that was over a 10-day period or a 3-day period. I didn't want to do 10 Maduros in a row anymore. Let's mix in something else. Let's mix in, anything else just to kind of, move the palate around a little bit. So, and I think that's helped me out a lot, because I'm getting a lot more enjoyment out of a lot of, lighter cigars that I wouldn't have been able to a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, and it's funny because people do get pigeonholed into that one favorite cigar, and they don't realize that there are 7,000 plus brands out there now.
Yep. Well, I did that for a long time. I came in here. This was where we're sitting recording right now. Used to be the Humidor.
Yeah, because that used to be the Rocky Wall right there.
Yep. And then they had a big table right here where Greg and Gorilla are sitting. And on the far side of that table was a particular brand of cigars. And I walked by everything. I mean, at gunpoint, I couldn't have named 5 other manufacturers in here for probably about a 5 or 6 year period, because all I smoked was this one manufacturer. Mm-hmm.
I distinctly remember your Humidor being basically all, I don't know why we're not saying, but I won't.
Gurkha.
No, it was all Gurkha. I smoked hundreds of Gurkha
Oh,
cigars.
yeah, it was Gurkha. I thought you were going to say Camacho.
Well,
You did have a Camacho phase, too, which was weirdly in almost the same spot.
Well,
that might be part of it. You started to gravitate out.
I had a Camacho phase because the first time we went to Rocky Mountain, Camacho decided at the end of the event that they didn't want to take anything home.
That's right. Came up with like 300.
And I bought a suitcase full of Camacho cigars.
Fuck yeah.
And
I forgot that.
By accident, actually. I think there was a little bit of a language barrier.
Yes, there was.
Because I wanted all of this particular 5-pack that he had left, and I had a handful of cash, and I'd been drinking. I'm going to qualify this considerably, but I was still able to function. I wasn't falling down drunk or anything, but I was a tad bit inebriated when we realized that, hey, they are reducing the pricing on some of this stuff.
Everything must go.
So we went down there, and I wanted a particular 5-pack.
Wasn't it the Maduro?
It had 2 different Maduros in it.
One of them that like barrel aged one? Or?
Yes. So I wanted all of those 5-packs. And I had everything in that 5-pack that was on the table, and I'd given him told me what the price was, and I'd given him my money. And he was walking over, they had a cash box, and it was probably about 6 or 8 feet from where I was standing. And I said, "Is that all you have?" And he looked back at me, because there's a shitload of more 5-packs on the table, but they were different 5-packs than what this one I had, right, that I wanted. And he looks back at me, and he's like, "Oh, we've got a lot more." And he meant a lot more of these other 5-packs. I didn't pick up on that. I'm like, oops. What's it going to take? And I got a handful of cash. I go, what's it going to take to get all of these? He walks back over, he pulls $300 out of my hand, and he goes, "There you go," and pushes all this stuff
Just
on the
rakes
table.
the table into your box.
And I'm like, holy shit.
That's not what I
had
meant.
to take off I had 2 shirts on, a button up. I had to take off my button up, pull my T-shirt off, put the button up back on, and I literally stuffed this T-shirt full like a hobo sack of freaking cigars.
Yes, he did.
We had to go buy more luggage at Walmart to get home.
Like, that is not what I meant, but
I'll take
that
him.
is a good deal.
I got these for I mean, the
You
5
did the math on the episode after. It
was ridiculous.
Like $1.20 a stick or something.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. I think, it was down to like, I think it came out to like $6 a 5-pack or some shit. And I'm all, holy Christ. But that was the last year they kind of did anything like that too. But yeah.
They learned.
Yeah, they learned there was some
They did
idiot.
the math when they got home and went, oh, fuck.
There was some idiot like me. I'll take all of them. So, well, should we about
think
time to
so.
wrap this up? The gorilla.
One piece of gorilla news. I know I mentioned it to you guys off the podcast. I can't remember if I said it on recording, but a huge shout out to my buddy Ethan, who will eventually be on the show because it'll be entertaining in the way that watching a train wreck is entertaining. But my dude, and forgive me, Ethan, if I get this wrong, what's like the lowest degree you can get? Is it bachelor? Is that the lowest? Like,
Well, there's an associate's degree, and then there's a bachelor's degree, and then a master's degree,
I
and then
think
PhD.
he got his associates. I'm not. It might be bachelor's, but I'm pretty sure it's associates. He graduated a semester early from Kansas State with for sure an associate's degree in business management and with a minor in business accounting and finance.
That'd be a bachelor's.
Then a bachelor's with a 3.8 GPA.
Congratulations, man.
Homie, while working basically a full-time job at an auto parts store and working on that Impala.
And being in your podcast.
And being on the MASH podcast and generally doing random Midwest bullshit in his off time. So my dude kicked ass. It's funny because in the last month, he's like, what the fuck do I do with all this free time?
Hey, man, I'm going to pause you for a second. Pick up your cigar, because if you burn a hole in Ron's chair, we will never hear the end of this. You will be Hot Pockets Junior forever.
Not even warm.
Okay, I'm just saying.
3 burn challenge.
It looked a little rough from this angle. Is all I'm saying.
It's good. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Yeah, we'll put that chair on the other side.
He'll never know.
Yeah.
So yeah, big props to my boy Ethan. Secondly, I feel like we do have to acknowledge it for a half second. If you have been part of or are part of the logistics and recovery chain to deal with these fucking fires, God bless you. Like, I've been watching the coverage of that. It's depressing.
It's depressing.
It's horrible.
And I know there's a whole lot of the should they or shouldn't have they with the local, state, and federal government. All that bullshit aside, fucking incredible watching. Like, God bless the Canadians and their fucking super scoopers.
Have you watched the videos of those things? I mean, God, these pilots are nuts.
I watched a video today of literally they drifted a DC-10 through a canyon. I'm like, what the fuck? I would be shitting myself. But I also saw a guy my age made like an Instagram reel where he's saying, he's like, I live down here. I haven't been evacuated, but I don't think people realize, yeah, it sucks. Boo-hoo, your multi-million-dollar mansion burned down. One, that's still someone's home, whether they're, a tech dude, a Hollywood person, like that's still their house. That fucking sucks. But the other thing is, it's like, it takes 15 years for palm trees to grow to maturity. When we rebuild, we're not going to rebuild old Hollywood homes. We're going to be rebuilding, and he showed a picture of one of these like bullshit, shitty New York thin modern skyscrapers. It's like, there's lots of old parts of LA that are never going to be the same again.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it sucks. And again, LA is a fucking shithole, but there are parts of it that are that old, like Hollywood charm that is just gone now.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Also, the MASH film site might burn down again if they don't get the Palisades fire under control.
Yeah,
But,
that's true.
The joys of being in the Santa Barbara Mountains.
But I got to agree to you. Props to the firefighters and the first responders and those amazing pilots.
Yep. 100%.
Well,
and if you live in that area, you're affected by that. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, and please stay safe. If you get an evacuation notice, please leave. Yeah, that's I grew up south of there, and I spent a lot of time in that area, and that's just it's incredibly sad to see. So, yeah.
Well, now that I've bummed everyone out, do we want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's bail.
Want to thank everybody. My cigar is out. 3 burn challenge failed. And again, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Check us out at LumaCigarCartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. We're working on some new things with Twitter and Rumble. We'll get that up as soon as we can. Also, stay healthy and safe. Scott says some other things. I don't remember what they are. So
Nice.
On behalf of Larry, Anthony, myself, thank you for listening and watching. Thank you, West Tampa, for the great cigars. And check West Tampa out and find their cigars. And as always, good smoke, good drink, and good life.